Hard work alone cannot make you rich. Let me repeat that one. Hard work alone can't make you rich. Please, let us accept that. And the earlier you can accept that, the better. Hard work. Hard work. By the way, am I saying that people should not work hard? No, 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 no. Don't just read the title and then immediately start texting or commenting. Oh no, Joseph, hard work is no. Just listen. Listen, okay? Hard work alone can't make you wealthy. It can't make you rich. It can't. Just accept that, okay? Now, what can make you? Good. Thank you for asking that question. Stick with me. This is only a 15 minutes video. Can actually change and transform your life, okay? This is good. Joseph, in case you're watching me for the first time, and I make such kind of videos each and every day. Go ahead and subscribe. Make sure that you like the video and leave a comment on the comment section. Let's get on the business now. By the way, if you need my services in one way or the other that are private, there's some of the things that you can ask here on the comment section. That is my number. Text me on WhatsApp. We can talk business. Now, hard work alone can't make you wealthy. I'm going to give you 3 different types of classes of people and what they make how. One, poor people. Poor people. Do you know how they make money? By physical labor. Physical labor. Physical labor. Are we together? Let's say, for example, I employ you to be wiping my board. Once I talk and the board is full up, then you just wipe the board and then you start and then you do. That's a physical labor where you're trading your energy and your time, not necessarily skills. For example, if you employ somebody to sweep, to wash, to wipe the tables and whatever, honestly, you don't really need skills to do that, okay? You just need a little bit of experience. And one thing that you're supposed to understand, the more you do that, what can be done by most people, should I actually say this? This one is a bit heavy. The less useful you'll become in the chain of making money. I didn't say you're useless. I said less useful. So what happens is that if whatever you can do, let's say, for example, wiping this board, of course, does not to have any skills. You just need to stretch your hand and wipe this board, isn't it? So let's say I realize that either you are not listening what I'm telling you, or perhaps in one way or the other, you're not a good employee. I can just fire you and replace you at any given moment. What if this is the only pen that I use and apparently there is no any other pen and I don't know how to repair this, and you are here, my pen goes bad and apparently you're the only one who can repair that. Do you know I can just wake up? Do you I can't just wake up and fire you at any given moment? I can. Why? Because you're very valuable. You're more of an asset than a liability to me. So what happens? The poor people make money by physical labor, thinking that you can create wealth using that. You can't create wealth by physical labor. Why? There are feasible number of activities that you can do with the human muscle. Let me repeat. For example, if you go to a market, there are these people who help us to carry our luggage to our cars and what have you. That can't make you wealthy. There's one thing that people do. Confuse. Don't confuse movement with growth. Don't confuse. Those are 2 different things. And just because you are working a lot on something does not mean that you're getting a lot more done. Just because you are doing a lot does not mean that you're getting a lot more done. That is what you're supposed to understand. Let me now explain the next point. We have other people, we call them the middle incomers people. These are middle incomers people. Do you know how they make money? By trading their what? Their papers. They trade their papers, they trade their intelligence, they trade their qualifications. Let me call them the qualifications. So once they trade that, they are trained as a nurse, you're trained as a doctor, you're trained as an engineer. So you trade that. And how do you trade that? Remember one thing, once you go to school, and by the way, if you can get this, can help you a lot in your life. If you go to school and you are trained as a doctor, are you together? So what comes in your head? You are only taught the professional part of the doctor or the professional part of the medicine. You are a doctor. You are told as a doctor. So how can a doctor make money if the doctor works in a hospital? That is the primary, teaching that you are given back when you are reading or when you are schooling. Now, I was about to say reading. Anyway, you are reading anyway, after all. So doctor, they only make money, or is perceived for them to make money when they work in a hospital setup. They work in a hospital setup. Guess now what they're doing? They're offering their services here, their skills, the time and energy for them to be given cash back in their pocket. Now they are only exploring the professional part of the medicine, and yet there is a business part of the medicine. Let me ask a very simple question. This is Good Joseph. I set up a hospital called Good Joseph Hospital, and then I go employ a doctor who did medicine and surgery and qualified. Okay, they don't have the first class and what have you, but let's say they're one of the best students who qualified, and I employ them. I give them a salary of $3,000 a month. That's like almost 400,000 Kenyan shillings. 400,000 Kenyan shilling. That's quite of a good salary. Now, the question is, there is me who is in the business of medicine, and there is this who is in the profession of the medicine. You cannot be able to make wealthy if you're in the profession part of anything. You can't. You always make enough. Absolutely. From an average eye, from the eyes of a poor, you always look as if you're wealthy. You know, you're living in a very good, affluent places. You're paying your house rent worth 80,000 a month. You know, you're perceived where you hang around and what have you. These are the people who struggle a lot to show you that they're successful. The middle incomers people, where they take their school, their kids to school, where they hang around, the type of a car that they're driving and such kind of a thing. And that's why the government tax a lot these guys. By the way, if you're here and you're the government, this is where a lot of money is. Are we together? Because these are the people who spend a lot. And these are the people, you know, the poor people think that or believe that money, and by the way, when I say poor people, it really hits me differently. Okay? But allow me to use that name due to lack of a better one. See, they believe that, that the money is meant to pay their bills. They believe once they get the money is to pay their bills. And this one believe the money is to pay their bills in time. And then we come to the wealthy people. Do you know how the wealthy people make money? They make money by doing what? By use of resources. They use resources. They use what we call the IP, the intellectual property. This is where they create ideas. They create ideas. They come up with ideas. You find somebody created a Facebook, created a YouTube. That's where we are enjoying, me and you. Created this pen. They invested their money. Now, for this, how they perceive money? They perceive money as a tool to make more. To make more. Can you look the mindset of these people? This guy believe once I get money, I'll be able to pay my bills because I'm struggling to pay my bills. And this, the middle income, there's money is to pay the bills, but in time, making sure that everything in time, the car insurance, my health insurance, my school fees, rent and what have you, paying them in time so that I don't have any struggles. But these guys, if you play, if you joke, you're simply 2 months away from being broke. But these guys, once they see money, they think of plowing it back to investment. That's why they make what we call the residual income. They make residual income. These people, they usually make income or salary. These people, they usually make what? Wages. You have to understand all these terms. They are very harsh, but it's the reality. So what happens? Hard work alone can't, won't, has never made anybody wealthy. Because nobody's in a business of employing you, no matter how hard you. By the way, how many here usually question yourself and be like, why do these people who work a lot, they usually don't have a lot of money? Good. Because that's not the case. See, creating wealth, you have to have what we call a plan. It's a master plan. You have to have a master plan. You can actually sit down and be like, okay, you can work hard. I'm not saying that you shouldn't work hard. You can work hard, but you have to sit down with the paper. Now I'm giving you the solution that you've been waiting. What do? Now, you're working hard, yes, okay? You have to ask yourself, what does being wealthy mean to me? It doesn't have to mean what it means to other people. Probably, maybe, let's say, owning a GLE or owning a G-Wagon or whatever may not mean wealthy to you. Some people be like, you know what, I love preaching, I love spreading the gospel, I love visiting the homeless people, I love... Being wealthy is when you don't worry about the basic things, that you're given the time to go and pursue the purpose of helping people, worshiping God if you're a believer. Now, what happens? You have to ask yourself, I am working hard. The money that I'm making, it will never take me to my destination. First of all, know that you're using the wrong formula. Change the formula. How do you change the formula? You ask yourself, apart from trading my energy, my biceps, my energy, what else can I trade? What else can I trade? How can I take... You see, reason why I also... You see, when you come to Kenya, we have two types of people when you're building. We have the masonry and we have the helper. I don't know how I can say it. Kenya, we call them mtu wa mkono. You know, this guy who just hand over the tools to the technical guy. This guy is paid half of this. Why this guy paid more than this? Because this guy is being trained because of his skills. And why? I don't understand why people don't understand. Skills are the one that pays. Not working hard and sweating, that doesn't pay. So you ask yourself, I don't have the skills, that's why I'm working hard to make money. So what skills can I get? You've been employed to open the gate and close the gate from away for a wealthy individual. You don't expect to become wealthy by just opening and closing the gate. You ask yourself, if I get the money that I get paid at the end of the month, what skills can I add on top of this what I'm having that I can do something else? Probably you can even learn how to repair that gate that you're closing and opening. That's a skill. Probably you can learn some things to do with welding. Probably you can actually go out there and you get what I'm saying. So what happens is that you have to equip yourself with the skill on top of what you're having. That's one way. Two, you can actually decide the money that you're making here, you decide to set aside some cash. And I will be like, oh, but it's not enough. I always tell people, you paying rent and eating and doing other things, that is paying other people. And you saving and investing is paying yourself. Between other people and you, who should come first? You should love yourself. So that even, by the way, when you say you should love your neighbors, you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, then how can I love your neighbors? You love yourself and you don't love yourself in the first place. So what happens is that you have to have the ability to set aside some cash for you. You be intentional. You set aside some cash. I will explain to you how I got myself from the struggle. I was painting. I was being paid around 1,000 shilling in a day. That's like $10 or less than $10 in a day. And I made a video here and I told you, I was once in a place where I was, painting a house that was worth at 6 million Kenyan shilling. I made a video about that. Go check it out there. It is on my YouTube channel. And I was seated there and I could look at the guy who is building the house worth 36 million. The dude was less than 40 years. And I was like, God damn it. This guy must have using a different formula. I did ask the guy. Well, of course, I didn't ask the guy like directly. Of course, I didn't go, asking like, what do you do and something. I realized the guy owns a hardware. He owns a business. Then I had to dig into how did he get themselves into this. You get what I'm saying? And I realized if I continually doing this, what I'm doing, being paid 1,000 shilling in a day, when I'll be able to get 36 million, it's years and years. Probably I'll never get it. Then I knew I was in the wrong formula. I was on the slow lane, just like the MJ DeMarco discusses or explains it in the book called The Millionaire Fast Lane. So what you're supposed to understand is know that you're on the wrong route. You're using the wrong formula. So you have to jump on the other one. So I knew with 1,000 shillings that are being paid each and every day, I have to look away of buying myself. I didn't have a good camera. I didn't have a good phone that can make good videos. I still have that phone with me here. It's an asset. It's like a souvenir to me. So I decided to set aside. I bought a phone worth 15,000 Kenyan shilling to actually make good videos. Of course, it wasn't that good, but anyway, it was working, isn't it? So I invested on this because I knew I can talk. There are some skills that I can share with people, and I was still making that. So I was doing the hard work by then as I was working on other things that can actually pay better or take me to a better place compared to just relying on that. So what happens is that most people, they just tend to rely on that hard work, expecting a miracle to just happen within them being, it can't. So what do? When you're working hard, you have to have a master plan that will help you to get to the next. How? You set aside some cash. You either can decide, and don't tell me you don't have a talent. Nobody was created just like that. You have nothing that you can offer. There is something that you can offer. That's for sure. Either you can talk, either you can dance, you can inspire, you can educate, you can entertain. There's something you can do. By the way, there are only 3 ways of making money on earth. Either you entertain, you educate, or you inspire. For me, I educate. That's why you people come here to watch this video, because you get educated. There might be something that you're giving to people more than you get. Listen, for you to get wealth, it is more of you solving people's problem, not your problem. For example, if you take this number and call me, tell me, Joseph, I have 10 million I want to invest. Of course, I will charge you. Guess what I've done? I've actually prioritized me solving your problem, and you had no problem of paying me back. And remember one thing, the money or the amount of money you make is directly proportional to the number of people you help or influence. That's for fact. If today we sat here and find out how many people Mark Zuckerberg influences on this one, is in tens of billions. If you solve a billion problem, you're going to have a billion. If you solve a million problem, you're going to have a million. So what happens, the money you make is directly proportional to the number of people you influence. Because there is a very simple concept on earth of making money. It's about solving people's problem. And you get money, which is a reward after solving someone's problem. So you should focus on finding out how better can you place yourself on earth? How useful, how irresistible can you be? But if you're trading this, I'm telling you, there is a feasible number of things that you can do with this. This will always wear out. If I make this video right now, I go do other things, this video will keep on generating income as I'm doing other things. It will actually bring on clients to me as I'm doing other things. You have to detach yourself. You see, I always tell people, the money you make should not be confined within the parameters of time. You should operate outside the time. You're making, it is, you see, I hear people say, I'm being paid $15 in an hour. So the moment you say $15 in an hour, you've already confined the money you can make within an hour. And that's why you hear somebody's making, I was making some video somewhere, or rather I was in a seminar somewhere where I was discussing about one of the biggest CEO we have in Kenya, the most paid one. He earns around 33 million in a month. That's like 1.1 million in a day. 1.1 million in a day, that's approximately 10,000, almost 10,000 US dollars in a day. So the guys were like, no, that guy is stealing. No, you see, they are trying to imagine the match they make compared to the match these guys make, then be like, you know what, it's not feasible. Of course it is not based on what you do, because it doesn't work that way. There are other formulas that you can apply. Anyway, hard work alone won't, has never made anybody wealthy. To be wealthy, there is a master plan that you have to employ. You have to change the perception. You have to know one thing, that this bicep that I'm using, this energy that I'm using, one thing, it disintegrates with time. The way energetic I am, honestly speaking, this is not how I will be next year. Of course, in terms of energy, I'll be down, but in terms of experience and skill, I'll be up. And that skills, if I have a way of making sure that I can be able to reap out of my skills, that is how it grows. So guys, let's cease using just work hard alone. That will be able to, no, it doesn't, has never, it will never do that. So if you can apply those steps that I've given you, then you can actually slowly start to transform your perception as far as the money is concerned. And that's how we do it. This is good, Joseph. I hope I made something on this video. And if I did, come on, give me a like button. Or rather, give me a like on this particular video. And if you don't like the video, still like it. See you in the next one. Don't forget, that's my number. You can pick it up and shoot me a call. Let's talk business for now. It's a goodbye. See you there.